Welcome to the Zoom Room. Drew Hamilton here. I am the Lynx Players Region Director for the state of Texas. And in the Zoom Room joining me today is David York, otherwise known as Shork. Shorky. David is a participant at the Thursday morning Lakewood Country Club Lynx Fellowship. David, welcome to the Zoom Room. How are you?
Great, Drew. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, you bet. It was interesting when I asked you to be on the Zoom Room. It seemed like you had a little bit of reticence, and I just want to say that I'm excited to have you because a couple reasons. One thing that I've found is that I think some people that have been on their faith journey for a long time can end up getting complacent, and they get rejuvenated when they see the energy of someone who's a little newer on their walk, who has a little bit more energy. And then also, I think it's going to be a real encouragement to some guys that, you know, I've noticed a lot of guys, and I think both of us would fall into that category, got to a point in their life where they started questioning, you know, there's got to be more than this. And that's kind of what's brought us to this point. So you're relatively new to Lynx Players. Why don't you tell me, or not me, tell the audience how you got to know about Lynx Players?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And, you know I don't have to tell you because you were there. So I want to say it was sometime around the holidays last year, right after the holidays, beginning of the new year in 2019. And I had the opportunity to go play golf with some buddies, one of which was Drew. And gosh, I don't remember what hole it all was on, Drew, but correct me, I think it was somewhere around hole 8.
It was on 8 on the fairway. I remember distinctly.
Yeah, so we were kind of chatting it up a little bit, and I think you said something to the effect of, York, there's something different about you, or it may have been when the cart girl showed up, and I ordered a Diet Coke instead of the Staple Miller Lite, and so we got to talking, and you know, guys that are listening and watching this, you know, Drew's one of those guys that he doesn't hammer you, but he's so good at leaning in. And so, you know, Drew knows how to listen for the pain, and he heard mine. And so, you know, I had a lot of things going on, you know, at that point in my life. And, you know, we kind of started talking, and Drew told me about Lynx Players, and, you know, kind of well, we'll get to more in a minute, but, you know, the rest is kind of history.
Well, yeah, I just find it fascinating, and I wonder how many other guys go through the same process you did, but I think it's definitely worth sharing what it took to get you to that first Lynx Fellowship.
Yeah, you know, we played, there we were on that 8th fairway talking, and then, you know, we got through the day, and obviously we chatted more about stuff and life, and you invited me to come to a Lynx Players meeting up at the club. And so, you know, I woke up the next Thursday and thought about it, because I set my alarm for it. And, you know, all the feelings and emotions that, you know, right? I mean, I was nervous. I was scared. I didn't know enough about Christ. You know, just, and I wasn't a member, you know, I'm not a member at Lakewood. So all the little things were creeping in there that kind of kept me away. And they kept me away for several weeks. Even though I left the alarm set, and I kept getting up every Thursday morning. And then, you know, it was sometime, I want to say it was around March. So it was a couple of months, 2-3 months, about 2 months after we talked. I woke up and I did it, man. I just, you know, I put the boots on and got there. And that was step one. And once I was there, you know, my life, you know, the last just over a year of being a member in Lynx Players has been life-changing for me.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. You are now, if not the most one of the most regular attendees at the Lakewood Fellowship. In fact, you have the distinction of being the only attendee a couple different times. For the audience. I can't remember where I was, but I couldn't be at Lakewood one morning, and I got a text. It was a picture of Yorkie by himself with his links PDF lesson at Lakewood. So that I think just speaks to your dedication in showing up. And so why don't you share what makes you come back week after week?
Well, I was kind of thinking about that, and links players, our motto is, changing the conversation at your club, and this has changed the conversation in my life. And what keeps me coming back, I'll tell you, it's not the free coffee at Lakewood, but this is just, it's the group of fellas that are in, that participate are awesome. I feel like, whether they know it or not, and Drew, whether you know it or not, I feel held accountable to something. And when all this started, and it may lead back to the first time I finally just said, look, I got to go. It's just, I want to be a better guy. And this group and team of guys makes me feel like a better guy. It makes me realize that, hey, we've all got, problems. And when we start sharing that stuff, man, we've had some emotional conversations. And, so that's what keeps me coming back is, one, I need the support, but most importantly, over all of this, I need the Lord in my life. And this, that holds me accountable to go. I still get up now, and there's hopefully somebody may see this, Drew, that's known, Yorkie for a long time, and say, wow, who knew, York would kind of be on this path. But man, it's just awesome being so youthful in my spiritual journey. I'm an old guy at 53, but I feel younger now. I mean, I just feel good, and I feel good when I'm there. So that's what keeps me coming back.
Awesome. And I'm a big fan of getting guys together, not only in a weekly Links Fellowship, but I love getting guys outside of their routine. And one of the things that I love doing is hosting golf trips with a purpose or retreats. And you got to participate in a retreat with, I think there were 15 of us last year. And like you just talked about, just the support from other guys and their struggles. But the other thing is just learning from other guys. And I just love that you have something that happens every day now that you picked up on a routine from our man Randy Wolf at that retreat. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, and it's so cool to me. And, Randy, who you've followed greatly and are doing such a fantastic job of building out, Links Fellowship now across the state. Randy, it was one of just those people he was so interesting to me. And I sat and listened to him a lot over that one retreat you're talking to. And now I've had the opportunity to go to a couple of them. But so while Randy gets the credit of the story, it's really his buddy Charlie that gets the true credit. So Charlie, rest in peace. I never got to meet Charlie, but I do know the story the way Randy told it. And basically, Charlie was a good friend of Randy's who every day had set his alarm at 3:16 for prayer. And it became a time where Charlie and then Randy and a group of more people and more people started finding themselves setting their alarm and praying at 3:16, obviously for John 3:16. And what was so great about it is he was telling stories about how they'd be in a Dairy Queen and bow their heads and go for it. So I love that, because I thought, wow, daily alarm again, I'm going to use the word accountability, but setting that time to spend some time with the Lord. Well, I was driving home from golf one day, and I'm not going to get, I don't want to get too weird, but I saw something in the clouds, and it looked like, what is that? 23 something. And anyway, I went home and I thought, golly, is this some kind of a weird sign that God's sending me? Well, I looked it up, and sure enough, it's my favorite Psalm, 23:1. And so I set my alarm for 2:31 every day. And that gives me time to spend with the Lord. What's great about it is, especially on Saturdays or Sundays, I'm on the golf course most likely. I can almost set the timing now to the hole I'm going to be on when it happens, but my alarm goes off. And if I'm pre-shot routine, I step back and bow and I say my prayer. And it does, and that's daily. And man, that's just another one of those things that links players ultimately brought to my life, but has just been, man, it's just been awesome.
That's fantastic. So yeah, I've got the daily alarm at 4:06 p.m. for Philippians 4:6. So, hey, I told you we'd be 10 to 12 minutes. I think we're right at 12 minutes right now. So before we start to become there's a I love there's a guy, Charlie, at one of our fellowships, and he likes to say, hey, what you said was almost interesting. And so I don't want to delve into the point where we are losing the audience's interest. But Yorkie, thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate you coming on and having the courage to share it. Not everybody would be willing to. So thank you very much. And we'll see you next Thursday at the Lakewood Links Fellowship.
Awesome. And I will say, anybody that's thinking about doing this, I mean, look, guys, you can relate golf to scripture. I mean, how awesome is that? So don't wait like I did. Give it a shot. It's worth it. It's life-changing. You're going to meet great people and just go do it.
Awesome.
And Drew,
Yorkie,
thanks for having me, buddy.
all right. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for the plug, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
See ya.